Common sense has gone out the window. And I don't say this lightly. So, where are we? What are we going to do? We are going to have to take politics out of the mix and do what's right. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Boulder, Colorado shooting. And while I'm not going to go super in depth, I'm going to discuss some things that politics and politicians should really listen to. So let's get into this. The Doctor of Disaster is a wholly owned subsidiary of Warnick and Associates Incorporated. I'd like to remind you to like, subscribe, and comment. This helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and quite frankly, this information needs to get out. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Doctor of Disaster. I am the Doctor of Disaster, Dr. Mark Warnick. I have a PhD in public safety, and I'm considered a subject matter expert by not one, but two different universities. So we saw that there was a mass shooting in Colorado. In fact, we've had a rash of mass shootings. And my prediction, we're going to see a bunch more in a short order of time. But, Doc, why would you say that? Well, it's real simple. When you keep people pinned up for a year, when people with issues are allowed to sit and fester on those issues because they can't get out due to COVID-19, then these issues are going to get worse. And once people feel that they can get out, they are going to go nuts. Let's look at this shooter. From all accounts, he had paranoia. He probably had some mental issues going on. And he was a person that was born in another country and lived here, felt picked on according to family members in high school. His Facebook posts said stuff like the school was tapping his phone and he was out of school for 4 years. These are issues that, had someone said something, go back to that first video, how to pre-identify. Most likely, this shooting wouldn't have happened. But instead, people are bringing politics into it. Just wonderful. So, one of the first things that people said, oh, look, it's a white male Trump supporter. Mm-mm-mm. You cannot make generalizations like that. When the truth came out, not only was he not a Trump supporter, but he supported the Democratic Party. He had much hate towards Trump on his Facebook page. Of course, as soon as that's all out, then it's gun control. And I'm going to tell you right here and now, and make no mistake, gun control in the United States will not work. But, Doc, why do you say that? Well, that's simple. At this point, there are more guns out there than people, and criminal networks have guns coming in constantly. So even if we get rid of the guns, even if we ban guns against our Constitution, then we are still going to have these issues. The reason? Because there's a gun underneath every rock, pretty much. The Japanese didn't invade us during World War II because they said there was a gun behind every tree. So if we take these firearms away, what's going to happen is criminals will still have access to the guns, but the law abiding citizens will then become the victims. How wonderful, huh? So, gun control in that manner won't work. What needs to happen before we can even consider anything, even if I agreed with it, which I don't, is we need to take the guns away from criminals. Unfortunately, nobody wants to do that. Law enforcement has their hands tied. You talk about bringing in the National Guard and doing a sweep, and people panic. Look at Chicago. They didn't want the Guard. Well, guess what? You can take and clean out a large percentage of the guns and reduce a vast majority of your violent crimes. Now, looking at the Colorado shooter, he shouldn't have even been able to get a gun. Should not have been able to. Now, do I agree with closing down loopholes where criminals can buy guns? Absolutely. We need to stop getting these guns in the hands of criminals. Do I support infringing on valid gun owners' rights? Absolutely not. I took an oath as someone in the military to defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And the Constitution gives you the Second Amendment right. So, where my issue is not with the guns. It is not with anything but the criminals who illegally have guns. And if you cut that back, we won't have problems or as many problems. We also need to look at educating people on how to report because there have been half a dozen reports on the Boulder shooter that said he portrayed some of the issues that we have seen over and over again in mass shooters: paranoia, thinking people were out to get them, various other things that are similar to that. So we need to educate people and tell them, hey, if you see this, call local law enforcement, call the FBI. This is just crazy, and it's only going to get worse unless we start educating people and taking guns away from people who shouldn't have them. This man was convicted 2 years ago of an assault, 3 years ago, something like that. And when you have an assault and it's a felony, you can't own a gun. So, how do you get it? To law enforcement, you know I'm a big supporter. You tell us what you need. You tell us how we can get illegal guns off the streets and out of the hands of criminals. Politicians, shut the hell up. Before you start adding more restrictions on guns, start taking them out of the hands of the people who shouldn't have them. I actually forgot what the actual numbers were, but it's something like 84 or 87% of those that kill, that are mass murderers, that are active shooters, shouldn't even have a gun. So, politicians, do your job. Take guns out of the hands of criminals instead of coddling them. The American people are sick of your BS when it comes to gun control. Do the right thing. We're tired. We're sick of it. People are dying, and you're playing politics. I'm going to stop here before I say something that I can't take back, and something that the good Lord wouldn't want me to say. So, the Colorado shooter, it's it's just a continuation of more people that shouldn't have guns having guns and committing massive crimes. And right now, it's too easy for people that shouldn't have them to get them. Law abiding citizens very rarely commit these crimes. It's the criminal element, the people that it's all about them and the woe is me. Anyway, until next time, see ya. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Like, subscribe, and comment. The Doctor of Disaster is a wholly owned subsidiary of Warnick and Associates Incorporated.